I was seeing at the time before I pitched this idea of a new collection, Frog Harbor Romance. I was seeing a lot of books about books. I was seeing a lot of bookshop owners and libraries and just kind of, bookstore, books on wheels. I was seeing a lot about books kind of coming out in fiction and gosh, readers just love that. And so there was a part of me that was like, how do I dive a bit deeper into the process of our love for books as readers and kind of maybe pull back some of the curtain on the publishing industry. Even as, even when I was coming in as a young author to the publishing industry and publishing world, there was so much I didn't know. Even 10 books in, there was still stuff I didn't know. And so I thought, what if I took kind of three very different individuals that each held an aspect within the publishing world and kind of pulled back some of that curtain to show, where these books even come from, kind of show kind of some of the inner workings in the publishing industry. So there is, a fictional publishing house called Fog Harbor Books that I've put in San Francisco. And so kind of each one of the Fog Harbor romance books has some kind of, holding within the publishing world. Fog Harbor Romance has three books that are a part of the collection. The first is The Words We Lost. And that book, how that connects to the publishing world is that it's an acquiring editor, an acquisitions editor, who is actually on the hunt for a missing manuscript that was written by an author who passes away right before the book opens. And so she knows it's out there. She has this very deep friendship with this author. So she goes on this quest to kind of discover, figure out where this book is, and in the process, of course, has to deal with a lot of other personal things that have gone on in her own life in the past few years, and this grief, which will allow her to kind of reconnect with a second chance, love story within that story as well. And then with The Roads We Follow, which is the second book, that story deals more with an author who is an aspiring, author. She's a writer who very much writes in secrets. She has a interesting dynamic that is quite unique with the pressures of her family. She is in Nashville. She has a mom who is a legend in the country music world, kind of inspired a little bit by Dolly Parton. And so there's some really interesting dynamics. She's the youngest of three sisters. And so for her to have this dream of publishing a book is not popular, within the family. And so she really writes kind of under, the cloak of night, I guess. And but she loves it. And so there's a lot of tension between, can she be authentic and put any of her stuff out into the world, or will she always kind of live under the name of her family? And so, and then the third book, which is what I'm working on right now, that book deals more with the audio side of publishing, and which is one of my favorite aspects of the publishing world is the audiobooks. And so that one deals with two narrators, well, a narrator and a sound engineer. So I try to write about places that I've at least been a couple times. With The Roads We Follow, that story hits a lot of different cities because it is a road trip. So that story, like, I've been to Nashville at probably 6, 7 times at this point, but I needed it to be cross country. And so it starts in Nashville and kind of ends up in the Northwest. And so I needed to hit a lot of different locations in this book. But yeah, most of the time the setting and these settings do, really they play a big part of The Roads We Follow. But most of the times the settings that I choose, have some significant, relevance to the story.